Good evening, I'm Colin Colgan and you're watching the Business and Enterprise Show, Ireland's only live web-based business TV programme with over 2 million views in over 200 countries. And as always, we're coming to you live from our state-of-the-art studios in the Cavan Crystal Hotel, Dublin Road here in Cavan. Now, of all businesses that have changed dramatically, computers and IT has to be on top of the list. Basically, a car that you bought 20 years ago still looks reasonably the same as it does now. However, computers has changed so much. I have a bit of an expert on computers with myself this evening. The company is Forward Computing, and I'm joined by Anthony Kamashunas. Anthony, you're very welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Before we start talking about Forward Computing, you might tell us a little bit about Anthony. I can tell by your accent you're not from around here.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's something I cannot conceal, I guess. You can call me Anthony. I'm originally from Lithuania. I studied business for 4 years in Lithuania, and then afterwards I studied logistics in Sweden, in fact.
So an international traveller. Sweden, Lithuania, Ireland.
Yeah, I guess you can say so. Now you might be asking me, so where do computers come from? Because obviously what I studied is quite different from what I do in Forward Computing. I felt very strongly about computers since I was a child. Others were playing with toys probably. It was when I was playing with computers. I had my first computer, I don't know, around 2000, and I started tackling with them and everything, and it didn't take long until I took it all apart. And
so when you say you played with computers, because I have a nephew and he had a computer and he was forever on it, but he never played it. Sorry, he never took it apart and put it back together then, you know. So your interest in computers was, A, what they do, and they kind of do everything at this stage, but you love to get right inside them and see how they worked.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in everything I do, when it comes to computers, my first focus is to make them serve the person who is using them. Computers are tools, and they ultimately have to do something for the people that are using it. Mm. Computers have to work for people and not the other way around.
I was only watching on the TV there this morning that the Apple Watch, there's pre-orders being taken, and a couple of people were kind of looking at us, and there was just no bigger than the wristwatch we have here, you know, and the powers behind it. Anytime I'm talking to computer people, I always give them the yarn about the first job I had, which it seems like a couple of years ago, but I realised it was actually 40 years this year. Okay. And we had a computer room. I don't mean a room where we kept the computers. There was a room, and it was the desk computer, and all it did was the wages for, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 people, you know. But it was an entire room, and it was the computer. And now we have, as I said, they're taking pre-orders now for the, I was going to call it the iPhone watch, but I think it's the iWatch or the Apple Watch or whatever, you know. And the technology has gotten so small, and it has obviously changed even since you started, which you said you got your first computer in 2000, so that's about 15 years ago. I'm sure the computer you got then, you know, it's so obsolete now, it's incredible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine how I would be able to do anything with that computer. On the other hand, it was a desktop PC, and it looks quite similar to what desktop PCs are looking nowadays. It's just that computers have become so many times more powerful, so many times more capable. The software has developed so much, the hardware has developed so much, although the shell hasn't changed that much.
Well, I suppose your PC, your desktop, as you said, hasn't. But, you know, good God, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a PC. You know, most people have a laptop, but probably a larger proportion now have the tablets. And that kind of, you can now kind of get the little keyboards to go with your tablets. But to see it, when you see a desktop, particularly a standalone desktop, it's one thing if you're going into an office and everything is linked and there's a server in the back room. Yes, you'll have a lot. But I suppose you have a server in the back office, and really what's on everybody's desk is a monitor and a keyboard. The business end is in the back, so that will have changed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You see, computers, and you were referring to these, to getting them smaller and smaller, more mobile and more capable. And I agree, that's probably one of the most visible changes that were taking place. But these desktop computers, I wouldn't want to say that they are becoming extinct. You see, it's kind of popular to say now that these smaller smart devices kind of took place of these desktop PCs and laptops. It depends how you're looking at it, and depends how you're interpreting statistics. Because really, I wouldn't tell that computers sale in the number of the units sold is decreasing. It has decreased maybe a little bit, but by not so much. What has been happening more significantly is the increase in the sales of these smaller and more portable devices. Now, say 10 years ago, take a household, and possibly it might have a desktop PC, okay? At that time, no one had tablets, no one had smartphones. Right now, what do we see? It's still quite likely that there will be a desktop PC or a laptop in that household. But at the same time, probably everyone in the family will have a smartphone. There will be a tablet or two. So you see, the number of PCs that are sold has not dropped so much as the
type of device.
As the type of devices.
Because I have several children. I can't remember how many I have, but two spring to mind specifically. One, my daughter who's in college, she only uses a laptop if she has a particular project, and the laptop is there. Now, last week she had a problem with the laptop. She couldn't finish off her assignment, and my son, who is huge into computers, was able to send up his laptop because he doesn't use it. He has the tablet, and everything is done on that. Again, he doesn't have what we call Sky Television or UPC. He watches everything on the tablet. So whereas, again, going back to my first job 40 years ago, the computer was a business tool. Now, I suppose it's 50-50 personal and business.
But don't you think that computers are still continue to be tools for serious work, business and professional specific applications that require lots of resources? While these tablets, you watch movies on them, you kind of check a Facebook online, and when you mentioned that your daughter uses the tablet or smartphone for everything she does, except when she had to do a project. When you have to do something more serious, if you know what I mean, then this is when you employ a real thing, if I can put it this way.
Now, I suppose you have your CPU, which in your desktop is the box. I suppose to a lesser degree, in a tablet, your CPU is the tablet. So could you, I may have invented something completely different here now, could you use your tablet as your CPU? Could you have a wireless keyboard, wireless printer, and could you do as much work on a tablet? Or is the inner workings of it just not sufficient, we'll say, for project work?
You see, these smaller devices use a different system PCs, laptops, most of them use Windows. A small minority of people use Linux, Macintosh computers, but the majority mostly are Windows computers. Now, those smaller devices, the market is dominated by Android and by Apple. These are the two main things. And you see, now since this development in computers has been so substantial, now you can do so much with these mobile devices, almost as much as you can do with the computers. It used to be that the telephones were only for calling and computers were for serious work. Now you can do so much with the smartphone. But still, I mean, again, when we get back to some serious work, some work that requires resources, some work that requires a bigger screen. I mean, looking at the very small screen of a tablet.
So in a nutshell, tablets and stuff, entertainment, laptops, PCs, serious work. And I suppose to get serious work, back to future, I was going to say future forwarding, that's a long time ago, but forward computing, you repair computers. I couldn't tell you the last time I got a computer repaired. Anytime I have had a fault, they've been maybe I've had them a couple of years, and somebody has looked at it and said, that should be as well up by the new one. Because I don't know whether it's the parts that kind of have become expensive individually, or whether people just don't have the knowledge that you have. But you actually repair computers, laptops, the whole lot, It's part of the service you repairing computers.
Yes. Yes.
Do many people look to have their computers repaired, or do they say, "Well, look, it's getting old"? Yeah, because what's the old gag? You walk out of a store with a computer under your arm, and already it's out of date.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point, because again, if we comparing what was used to what was happening 10 years ago and what it is now, it's quite different. Even in this regard, say 10 years, 15 years ago, these computers were getting obsolete fairly quickly. They were improving in performance a lot every year. So if you bought a computer at that time, it would probably take a year, 2 years, 3 years, not more than that, and your computer would be obsolete. You would be buying a new one. Now, since these computers advanced so much, they are already at quite a high level of performance. I would say higher than most people would normally need for their everyday use. So that's the reason that we don't have to buy computers as frequently, perhaps, as it was earlier. We don't have to replace them as much. And when it comes to repairing them, I would say that software became more reliable over the years. So computer viruses and all these things, of course, they still exist today.
You say computer viruses still exist, almost like it has been eradicated, like TB. Our computer virus is not even worse now because of, again, funny enough, it was the same program, but somebody had hacked into the computer system thing, that's how technical I am, of the White House. And I assume that if a computer is going to be well protected, it is the White House's. And if it's easy to do that, and again, I remember somebody saying that, I think it was the last one, Sony was hacked. Everyone was thinking it was a bank of computer experts in South Korea. I think the general thought was that it was probably a young fella in his mother's bedroom with a laptop. Are viruses not more prevalent now than they used to be, or has the antivirus software has it become so good now that it detects all these? Or are viruses as big a problem as they used to be?
It's not only antivirus software, it's the software in general. Operating systems have become more immune to viruses, and firewalls, network equipment, everything is getting better. Of course, those that are developing viruses also aren't sleeping, as you said.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good counterpoint. But I think I would say that for most of the people, for most of the home users, if you are careful about what you're doing, if you just don't go clicking random things, downloading random things, opening random things, then I think you are sufficiently safe.
So a lot of it is just scaremongering by virus suppliers.
Yeah, to some extent, yeah.
Of course, you said that you started working or started with a computer. I won't say working, because I'm sure you were quite small then, but in 2000. And of course, 2000 was the millennium. And of course, the millennium bug was out. And again, I remember that because we did have computers and we were debating whether to take these extremely costly packages that computer programs were telling us that if I took this package it would stop the Y2K bug. But it was kind of the attitude we adopted was that it looks as if planes are going to be falling out of the sky. The world is ground to a halt. So what's the point in us getting a computer fixed? And guess what happened? Nothing happened. So like even back then, computer programmers were trying to pull a fast one on people. Now, forward computing, that's your own business, and it's set up here in Cavan. What are some of the things that they do? Oh, you do, I should say, not they do.
Yeah.
I'm often accused of talking about myself in the third person. Now I'm talking about you like that. But forward computing, what do they do? What are some of the services they provide?
Very simply, whatever comes to your mind when you think about computers and making them work for you. So if your computer is not working well, if it's malfunctioning, it needs to be repaired. So indeed, I do repair computers. I configure them, I set them up. Do you build, if somebody came to you and said, look, I want a computer that does a specific task, can you build one from scratch, I suppose? Well, if you wanted to build a computer, probably...
Say you wanted something...
Maybe not because you wanted to do a specific task, but if you wanted to build a computer with certain
video
parts,
editing, something out of the ordinary like that, video editing.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I can certainly assemble a computer from parts, but you see, nowadays the selection of already pre-built computers is already more than sufficient, I would say. So not too many people go after this route as to build computer from parts.
Yeah. But so what else do we do in forward computing?
I consult people if they have any questions, concerns about computers. I develop websites. And
of course, websites now, again, when you were playing with computers in the year 2000, I was in business, but back then, if you were to be credible, you had to have an ad in the Golden Pages. You know, it didn't mean anything, but at least people could open the Golden Pages, see your ad, right, he's a business, right, now I know who he is. Websites have sort of become that. People, okay, well, I want a bit of prestige, so I have a website, and it's there. And 3 years later, you go back to the website, and it's still there. And it might say, yeah, it's launching our new product here in 2012. You know, people build websites, and then they leave them. They forget that they are something that needs to be updated. And I suppose people don't update it for two reasons. One, they don't know how to, and B, they think, well, it's an extra cost to get somebody else to do it. Is it easy to update your own website, or are you always better going to an expert?
Absolutely, it is. Well, in full, I mean, if you go deeper, of course, I should tell you that it depends on what kind of website it is. Yeah. If it is based on older, more obsolete technology, it might not be so easy to update it. It might not be. But current websites, if they're good quality websites, they are extremely easy to update it, just as it is updating your status on Facebook or whatever. Just as simple.
You are, of course, assuming that I can update my status on Facebook as well. There are, as I said, there are some people that charge, yourself included, charge you for building a website. Yet there's other websites that you can build a website for free on. Now, the first thing that always makes me is what's in it for, I think Wix, WIX is one of the companies to do it, that you can build your own website.
Right, a few of them, yes.
You download it from the internet and you can take it from there. I can never figure out what's in it for Wix, because I know there's a couple of companies, a couple of services where you can download everything that you need for your website, and you can build it yourself if you have a bit of technical knowledge. What does be in it for them?
See, it's even simpler. You don't even need to download it. You just sign up, register, and you just build everything within your web browser. You choose the design, you add pages, you add content. But you see, yeah, the thing is, like you say, it might seem that it's simple and anyone can do them. It might seem that it's cheap. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
But
cheap, yeah, it doesn't cost that, and that's definitely cheap, yeah.
That's definitely cheap. But in fact, when you look at what you're getting, now you are constrained to the designs that they're giving you. You are constrained to the arrangement of the elements within the web page. Normally, if it's a free service, they will have their bar, they will have their link somewhere on the website.
Yeah. So they're letting you build a website, but they're using that either for direct or indirect advertising purposes.
Yes,
yeah.
Another thing is that if you're going with the free option, you will not get a domain, but a subdomain, meaning it will be yourcompany.wex or whatever it is. You know, there's plenty of them .com, and not yourcompany.com or .ie. That's the thing is, and when you want to have your own domain, you have to pay. When you want to eradicate their advertising from your web page, you have to pay.
Yeah.
And it's just limited.
So they reel you in. Great, I have a website. Oh, I want this to look better, but that costs. And I want this. So they give it to you free to start with. But it is important that websites are kept up to date.
It is.
So if somebody came to you and says, "I want a website," what sort of charges are you looking at? Does it work at? Do you have a fee for it, or do you say, in reverse, how much do you want to spend on a website? If you spend 100,000 on a car, you get a much better car than you spend on 15,000 on a car. They're both functional and they both do exactly the same thing. But if you want to spend 100,000, you get a much better car. But by the same token, if you spend more money on a website, do you get a better website, or could you get a good website, an excellent website, for the basic fee?
I guess it depends who is doing the website for you, because I suppose prices vary among different developers, and I have a starting price, a base price, and it does not necessarily have to be very big. Some people might think that having a decent website can cost thousands. Of course, if you want something big, something that has very particular features, something more intricate, then yes, it might cost more. Again, e-commerce. If you want to have that with your website, it will of course cost.
So, how much would your basic charge be?
Starts from €500.
500. So, if I came to you and said, Anthony, at €500, I'd get a good website.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to say you get the best website ever.
Yes, and by saying it starts from €500, I don't mean to say that you get the cheapest and the worst option and you have to pay if you want to get something better, but it will be a decent website.
Yeah, right. So Yeah, we have the company. It's Forward Computing. They're based in Cavan. Now, like all businesses, you need customers. How do you go about getting your customers? How do customers find you? How do you find your customers? What's the trick?
Yeah, this is a very relevant question to businesses, I suppose, and I will not be able to elaborate on it too much because I'm quite new in this establishment, Forward Computing. I started quite recently, but I have my website. I have business cards. I'm a member of Cavan Chamber of Commerce.
That excellent business organization in
It
town.
is,
I have to say that.
Absolutely, and that's more or less the
So,
point of it. I haven't done much,
so-
in fact, to advertise myself. I haven't done much so far, but I guess I'm planning to just go out and meet business people in their premises someday, knock on doors, introduce myself and so on.
And are there examples of your work on your website? If people go to your website, can they see some of examples of what you have done?
No. You're probably referring to websites.
Yeah.
For the most part. No, I don't have.
I'm just
any
thinking a video of you fixing a computer. Wouldn't look very exciting, would it? No. Particularly if something went wrong and you started cursing at it.
Yeah, that would be funny, I guess.
So as the business is only starting. Where do you see it going? What's your ideal? In 5 years' time, would you be content to be a still computer repairs, computer consultancy, or have you got a bigger plan?
If we're talking about computers, I guess I would.
Because I suppose, considering
you see,
in 5 years' time, God knows what computers will be like.
Calm. You see, to be honest, I'll tell you, I have too many thoughts in my mind. I have too many different ideas, so it will be quite difficult to summarize this in one word. But because there are some things that I do in addition to computers, besides computers. So if we're talking about computers, if I stay in computers, then I guess I would like to go more of a IT consulting route.
Yeah. Or invent something in computers and become a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, that's a good point. And if I am based in Cavan Town, I was thinking about opening a shop, computer repair shop. But on the other hand, there's quite a few of them already.
Yeah. So plenty of plans and plenty of time. Anthony, I appreciate you taking the time to come in and talk with her in the Business Enterprise Show. And I wish you and Forward Computing all the best of luck. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Anthony.
so much. Thank you.
Right, that's it. You've been watching the Business Enterprise Show. My guest tonight was Anthony Tamachunas of Forward Computing. Thanks. Talk to you next week.